제주특별자치도가 6차 4.3 희생자 보상금 신청을 2025년 1월 2일부터 2026년 12월 31일까지 받습니다. 신청 대상은 본인 및 민법상 상속권자가 가능하며 제주도 내 읍면동 주민센터로 방문 접수 혹은 도청 4.3 지원과 보상팀으로 우편 접수하시면 됩니다. 또한 4.3위원회 심의 결정 이후 보상금 결정서를 통지받으신 분들은 청구 서류를 제출하시면 됩니다. 자세한 사항은 제주도청 064-710-8450으로 문의하시거나 4.3 종합정보시스템 홈페이지에서 확인하세요.
Welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour, starting with the expansion of the Trump administration's steel tariffs. The United States says refrigerators, washing machines, and other items made with steel parts will soon be subject to new tariffs. This is said to be a blow to South Korean firms that make those products. President Lee Jae-myung sits down with South Korea's top business leaders for the first time, including the heads of Samsung and Hyundai Motor. This comes as the new president earlier vowed to focus on economic recovery. An Air India plane carrying 242 passengers bound for London crashed in India shortly after takeoff. More than 240 people have been killed, with one British man believed to be the sole survivor of the disaster. We start in the U.S., where the government has announced plans to expand tariffs on products made with steel, including refrigerators. President Trump also warned that he may soon raise tariffs on foreign cars to have more automakers build plants in America. Our Park Eun-woo starts us off.
More ramping up of tariffs on foreign goods by the Trump administration. On Thursday, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced that tariffs on steel and its derivative products will be expanded to cover 8 more items starting later this month. Those items include refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers, ovens, and more. This means the 50% tariff, which went into effect in early June, is now set to be applied to those products for the value of the steel content in each product. South Korean products are also expected to be affected, with companies like Samsung and LG Electronics manufacturing and exporting a wide range of home appliances to the U.S. from South Korea and Mexico, though some products are made in the USA. Trump also hinted at raising tariffs on foreign-made automobiles on Thursday to boost the U.S. auto industry.
But to further defend our auto workers, I imposed this 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles and investment in American manufacturing and auto manufacturing. I might go up with that tariff in the not-too-distant future. The higher you go, the more likely it is they build a plant here.
The U.S. president was speaking at a White House event where he also cited investment plans from automakers, including General Motors, crediting his tariffs for those announcements. South Korean cars already impacted by U.S. tariffs are also set to be affected. 박건우, Arirang News.
U.S. and China agreed to a framework to ease tariff and trade tensions following 2 days of intensive talks in London this week. For more on the significance behind this agreement and what lies ahead for the world's two largest economies, we're joined by Jeff Moon, president of China Moon Strategies and former assistant U.S. trade representative for China. Thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
So after talks in London, the U.S. and China agreed on a trade framework. Does this mean both sides got what they wanted? And what is your overall assessment on their meeting?
My overall assessment's positive. We needed to resolve the rare earths elements issues, but the London agreement really is just a reset to the prior agreement in Geneva. On May the 12th, the U.S. and China agreed in Geneva to reduce tariffs for a 3-month negotiating period that expires on August the 12th. Now that we've spent one of those months discussing this subsidiary matter of rare earths, it's really time for us to get back to the main issues in the U.S.-China trade dispute. The core issues that have really been festering for decades are subsidies and other non-tariff barriers. Those issues can't be resolved in 2 months, but the U.S. and China can reach a preliminary deal that can lead to further talks. I think that both sides now need to focus on the main agenda and redouble their efforts to see what progress they can make.
Right, and President Trump declared the trade war with China done, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said tariffs on China will remain fixed at the current 55% rate. So do you see this as a sustainable agreement?
The trade war is done only in the sense that the London Agreement removed rare earth elements as an obstacle to addressing the major issues in the U.S.-China trade dispute. So this is the end of the beginning of the negotiations and nothing more. As for the 55% tariff rate, that tariff level is not sustainable, and it's only a matter of time before Trump reduces it. Only companies with high margins can sustain a tariff rate of 55%. The firms that are the most vulnerable are small and medium-sized enterprises and other companies that operate on very slim margins. So my assumption is that the current reciprocal tariff negotiations that Trump has initiated with all countries will result in a lowering of tariffs generally, and I hope that comes sooner rather than later.
All right, and do you expect the deal to at least ease concerns among American consumers and businesses? Could it help revive the economy in any way?
The London deal is a good sign that negotiations are moving in the right direction, but we have a long way to go before consumers and businesses can stop worrying. The biggest concern is the instability that Trump has caused. Consumers and businesses are reluctant to make purchases or investments because it's impossible to predict what tariffs or other measures Trump is going to announce in the coming days, weeks, or even years. Business craves a stable commercial environment, and without that, the economy really won't revive to the full extent until Trump restores predictability to the market.
Right, and you just said it's just the end of the beginning. What can we expect to happen next? Will we be able to see the two countries announce some progress on trade issues other than rare earth export controls?
I predict that now that negotiations on other issues are getting underway, that the U.S. and China will agree on a preliminary deal before the August 12th deadline. We're short on time, so the terms will include issues that are relatively easy to agree on or things that the countries want to do anyway. And the format will probably be similar to the recent US-UK agreement, which was a 5-page term sheet with many terms still pending negotiation. I think the US-China agreement will probably address things like fentanyl cooperation, Chinese purchases of American goods, and selected, narrow, probably industrial policy issues. But none of that is going to resolve the larger industrial policy issues that really have bedeviled Chinese and US relations for the last 30 years. As for future negotiations, I agree with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who said recently that it will take years to really reach a comprehensive agreement between the U.S. and China.
All right, and with the July deadline approaching, Trump also says he's willing to extend the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, but does not believe it will be necessary. So do you think the Trump administration might extend the pause for trading partners like South Korea?
I think a lot of extensions will be necessary because, frankly, the administration doesn't even have the personnel necessary to negotiate the agreements he said he wants to talk about. And I think that Trump probably had South Korea in mind when he talked about a possible extension of the 90-day pause for certain countries. South Korean negotiators have visited Washington various times in recent months, and all accounts are that they've been negotiating in good faith. The fact that the Korea-U.S. trade agreement is still in place has reduced the number of potential areas of friction or issues for negotiation. And in addition, I noticed that South Korea recently appointed a new trade minister who's very knowledgeable and highly respected in Washington. And I expect that he will be very helpful in guiding the negotiations to a good result on behalf of South Korea.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And President Lee Jae-myung is holding his first meeting with the nation's top business leaders on Friday. According to the top office, the meeting, underway from 10 a.m. at the Yongsan Presidential Office, is being attended by the heads of South Korea's 6 major business organizations, including the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as 5 leading conglomerates, Samsung, SK, Hyundai Motor, LG, and Lotte. While no details have been released on the agenda, President Lee promised in his inauguration address to begin his term by focusing on economic recovery and improving people's livelihoods. And the president also continues to engage with his foreign counterparts, holding phone calls with the leaders of Australia and Vietnam. Our presidential office correspondent Song Yoo-jin reports.
It was a busy day of diplomacy for President Lee Jae-myung on Thursday, holding phone calls with the leaders of 2 of South Korea's comprehensive strategic partners. In the afternoon, President Lee spoke with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. According to the presidential office, the pledge to strengthen cooperation in national defense, clean energy, and critical minerals, building on the long-standing trust and solidarity forged since Australia's participation in the Korean War in the 1950s. They also discussed working together to promote peace on the Korean Peninsula and to achieve meaningful progress on the North Korean nuclear issue. Cooperation for the successful hosting of the 2025 APEC summit in Gyeongju City was mentioned as well, as both countries are founding members of the regional forum. Both sides agreed to hold in-person talks to discuss concrete ways. Earlier in the day, the South Korean leader spoke with Vietnamese President Luong Quoc. Similarly, their focus was on further developing their partnership.
The 2 leaders agreed to expand and deepen bilateral cooperation in strategic sectors such as high-speed rail and nuclear energy.
President Lee requested Vietnam's continued interest and support for Korean companies operating there, to which President Quoc responded positively. Quoc also invited Lee to Vietnam, to which he said he looks forward to in-depth discussions to strengthen bilateral ties during his visit. So these are President Lee's 5th and 6th phone conversations with world leaders since taking office last Wednesday. His diplomatic efforts continue ahead of next week's G7 summit in Canada, where he's expected to meet several of the leaders he spoke to face-to-face. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News.
President Lee visited a local flood control center ahead of the upcoming rainy season, putting emphasis on safety. At the same time, the new leader, who's just in his second week in office, has been bolstering communication with Parliament and the press throughout the week. Our senior top office correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
Appearing in a yellow civil defense uniform, South Korea's new president was at a flood control center of the Hangang River in Seoul on Thursday to check readiness as the nation braces for the summer rainy season.
우리 국민들의 생명과 안전, 재산의 피해를 막는 것이 가장 중요하다. 잘 먹고 잘 사는 문제, 민생의 문제도 중요하지만 그것보다 가장 중요한 일은 국민들의 생명과 안전을 지키는 일이라는.
Present at the meeting were related officials, where Lee called for an overhaul of flood-prone areas, as well as the flood warning system. He went on to emphasize the responsibility of the officials in charge of public safety, as he vowed to better empower them and improve compensation. Also in line with this, President Lee Jae-myung suddenly stopped by the alleyway in Seoul's Itaewon neighborhood, where the disastrous crowd crush claimed the lives of more than 150 people around 3 years ago. He laid flowers and observed a moment of silence at Memorial Alley. On his way back to the office, he spoke with nearby merchants, asking them how their businesses were doing. Other than focusing on people's livelihoods during his second week in office, the new president has made a move to bolster communication with Parliament. Lee's Secretary for Political Affairs, Woo Sang-ho, paid a visit to the National Assembly for the third straight day on Thursday to meet the leadership of political parties, underscoring the need for cooperation across the aisle. It's taken as the president demonstrating his recognition of them as partners in charge of state affairs. Also conspicuous to the press corps covering the president was Lee unexpectedly stopping by at a cafeteria at the top office to have lunch and coffee with reporters in a casual setting for 3 days in a row this week. It's widely seen as a move to bolster communication with the press at the early stage of his presidency. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Investigations are underway after an Air India passenger plane headed to London with 242 people on board crashed shortly after takeoff, with only one survivor. The plane crashed into a medical college in the city of Ahmedabad, causing further casualties. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
Air India says 241 out of 242 people on board a London-bound plane that crashed on Thursday were killed in what is thought to be one of India's worst airline disasters in decades. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner crashed in the northwestern city of Ahmedabad shortly after takeoff. According to reports, 169 Indian nationals, 53 British nationals, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian national were among the passengers on board. However, one passenger, a British national, miraculously survived the crash and was sent to a nearby hospital for treatment. According to authorities, the lone survivor walked away after the accident and escaped the site without life-threatening injuries. And the death toll is expected to rise as the aircraft crashed into a residential area attached to BJ Medical College, with part of the plane falling on a dining facility. According to local authorities, at least 5 medical students were killed on the ground and dozens of others were injured. It's still unclear what caused the crash. However, video footage shows the plane with its nose pointed upward as it sinks lower toward the ground before the crash. An investigation is also underway to determine the exact cause. With 53 British nationals on board the ill-fated flight, the UK government has launched a crisis response team and has dispatched an investigation team to India. It's also working closely with Indian authorities to find the cause of the crash and provide support to affected families. 이승재, Arirang News.
And Israel launched preemptive strikes against Iran early Friday, according to Israel's defense minister. Israel also says it has declared a state of emergency, with retaliatory missile and drone attacks from Iran expected. Iran's state-run media also reported that explosions were heard in the northeast of Tehran on Friday. And according to Reuters, 2 U.S. officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, have said that the U.S. was not involved in the operation. And Russia is set to create a dedicated military branch for unmanned systems, as both Russia and Ukraine have been increasing the use of drones for strike missions and surveillance. During a meeting on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that his military will include a separate drone unit. According to Putin, Russia has accumulated a great deal of experience to create such a branch, adding that the unit will include personal training, manufacturing, and deployment of modern equipment. The move also comes as Ukraine formed its own unmanned systems forces last year. The USF has since launched hundreds of deep strikes into Russian territory in the ongoing war. Meanwhile, North Korea held a second launch ceremony Thursday for a 5,000-ton warship, the same vessel that partially capsized during its debut last month. State media says the destroyer, now named Gangon, after an anti-Japanese resistance figure, was rolled out again Thursday from the Lajin shipyard following full repairs. Leader Kim Jong-un attended the ceremony alongside his daughter, Chue. According to North Korean media, he praised workers for restoring the vessel, one he personally watched tip over last month. At the time, he ordered those responsible punished and called for repairs to be completed by the end of June. And for those of you here in Seoul who have yet to make weekend plans, do consider a visit to an exhibition that shares the works of a renowned British children's author, Anthony Browne, whose stories continue to delight readers of all ages. Our Cha Young has more.
The British author and illustrator Anthony Browne has dedicated his work A Boy, His Dog and the Sea to his late brother. The work illustrates the village where the artist is currently living. Browne has often shown the notion of opposites, such as big and small, by, for example, showing various primates in Big Gorilla, a book of opposites. He has also shared a warm look at the relationship between a grandfather and grandchild through My Granddad. Browne, who is 78, has been illustrating daily life in his new picture books. Anthony Browne leads us step into a world of imagination and warmth for readers through the beautiful picture books with familiar characters and pastel colors.
Hidden clues and whimsical details in his illustrations invite visitors to discover references to famous artwork. The essence of Browne's storytelling is the combination of observation, dialogue, and imagination.
Browne's stories explore a wide range of themes resonating with readers of all ages. Family members can enjoy his original artwork, including his latest unpublished creations.
It was so much fun to see the pictures that I had already seen from his book. It seemed like the characters came to life.
Anthony Browne exhibition, A Master of the Storytelling, will be showcased at Hangaram Art Museum Gallery 3 and 4 of Seoul Arts Center until the end of September. Cha Young, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Choi Ji-hee, and this is The World Now. The International Atomic Energy Agency has, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, formally declared Iran in breach of its nuclear non-proliferation obligations by approving a related resolution. On Thursday, the United Nations nuclear watchdog adopted a resolution with 19 in favor and 11 abstentions, finding Iran non-compliant with its safeguards since 2019. A May 31st report by the agency identified uranium traces at 4 previously undeclared sites, concluding 3 were tied to a covert nuclear program carried out into the early 2000s. In response, Iran's Foreign Ministry and National Atomic Energy Agency announced the country will build a new uranium enrichment facility in a secure location and condemned the IAEA's resolution, saying it completely called into question the credibility and prestige of the nuclear watchdog. The recent vote comes as Oman announced on Thursday that the United States and Iran will hold a sixth round of talks over Tehran's nuclear program on Sunday. Germany pledged more military aid to Ukraine in addition to a joint production of long-range missiles and drones during military aid talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. According to German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, during his visit to Kyiv on Thursday, Germany has provided $8.1 billion worth of military aid this year, with an additional $2.2 billion awaiting parliamentary approval. The new aid package includes the delivery of new IRIS-T air defense systems under a 3-year supply plan. Talks also included the joint production of long-range cruise missiles, drones, and rockets, exchanging funding for technical expertise. While Kyiv pushed for long-range Taurus cruise missiles, Berlin is not planning to supply them at this time. Pistorius emphasized Germany's role as Ukraine's largest European military backer and said enhanced support aims to strengthen Ukrainian deterrence and negotiating leverage ahead of any future peace talks. The United Nations said Thursday that Israel's military operations have severed Gaza's last functional internet cable, triggering a full digital blackout and halting humanitarian operations and vital services in the region. According to Deputy UN spokesperson Farhan Haq, there is a full internet blackout and mobile networks are barely functioning. Communications across Gaza, life-saving aid, and coordination between relief organizations have been paralyzed as a result, posing a grave danger to civilians as they cannot access life-saving support. A zoo in the German city of Kronberg near Frankfurt welcomed a 2-week-old African elephant, Kaya, on Thursday. Kaya, born 16 days ago, is the first baby elephant to be born in 57 years at the Opel Zoo. Meanwhile, Cologne Zoo also welcomed visitors with a group of elephants enjoying the warm summer heat, among which was a young elephant calf, Taro, who was born in March. The zoo also revealed the birth of 2 rare horses, a female and a male of the rare Przewalski species.
Jeju Island saw its first monsoon rains of the summer yesterday, a week earlier than average. And this morning, Jeollado regions are seeing rain, which will gradually expand to the rest of the country. Then it will be a rainy Saturday nationwide. Intense rainfall is expected tonight and tomorrow morning, especially in the south. And until tomorrow, Jeju's mountainous areas could see over 250 millimeters of downpours. The south coast and regions around Jirishan Mountain can expect 120 millimeters. Meanwhile, central northern areas, including here in the capital, can expect 5 to 20 millimeters. Rain and cloudy skies will bring heat relief to the southern regions, falling into the mid-20s, but here in the capital will be as hot as yesterday, topping out at 30 degrees Celsius. Rain will make its comeback over the weekend across the entire country. So those planning to travel to the southern parts of Korea this weekend, especially to Jeju, beware of heavy rain and stay safe.
Now that's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.
아쿠아맨, 바다를 사랑하는 사나이, 바다는 내 영혼의 고향이자 안식처. 그런데 점점 바다가 심상치 않다. 아쿠아맨이 나서야겠다. 바다를 다시 바다답게 돌려놓자. 진정한 오션 마스터가 되는 그날까지. 주에 4번 정도 다이빙을 하는데 거의 뭐 제 안방이라고 생각하시면 되거든요. 근데 안방에 이제 쓰레기들이 가득 차 있으면 거기서 주무실 수 있습니까? 저는 못 잡니다, 거기. 그렇기 때문에 저는 이제 쓰레기를 줍어야 되겠다고 생각을 해서 이제 바다에서 쓰레기를 줍고 있거든요. 쉽게 말해서 일반적으로 밖에 있는 쓰레기들이 거진 다 물속에도 다 있다고 보시면 됩니다. 그러니까 예전보다 바다 환경이나 쓰레기가 너무 많다 보니까 사람들 인식 자체가 이제 쓰레기를 같이 주워오는 경우들이 많거든요. 그래서 예전보다는 훨씬 사람들이 인식이 많이 바뀐 것 같아요. 일단 캐릭터가 있잖아요. 아쿠아맨 복장을 하고 쓰레기를 줍고 다닌다. 폼 자체가 다르지 않습니까? 저는 거기에 대해서도 뭐 재미를 느끼는 것도 있지만 이제 쓰레기를 줍고 있다는 것도 같이 보여주는 그런 의도가 좀 많죠. 그런 활동을 한다는 거를 이제 조금 이제 사람들한테 이제 알렸으면 좋을 것 같아요. 알리면서 이래 하는데 같이 하지 않을래 이런 식으로 권유도 하고 그렇게 다이빙을 하면 괜찮을 것 같아요. 나는 바다를 온몸으로 사랑하는 그린어이다.
We're here to bring a new type of news show. New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Friday, June 13th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and a big warm welcome to News Generation. Joining us today is Park Ki-yoon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and Chening Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So, as you know, Friday is when we explore topics that resonate with young people around the globe. Now, tomorrow, June 14th, marks World Blood Donor Day, a global campaign led by the World Health Organization to raise awareness about the importance of voluntary blood donation. So, to mark the occasion, today on NewsGen, we are going to talk about blood donation. For example, what motivates people, what myths surround it, and how the experience varies across countries. So, starting off, Cherin, what exactly is World Blood Donor Day, and why was this specific day established?
Yeah, it's a special day to appreciate people who donate blood. They donate blood to help others, so it's really kind of sincere and brave and kind thing to do. And as you know, even with all our medical progress, we cannot make blood. There's no machine for it, and only human beings can do. So it is irreplaceable by ChatGPT or AI in this day. So I think it's a kind of really meaningful action to donate blood to everybody else. So yeah, it's the only human beings can do with their heart.
No wonder we have a dedicated day for all the blood donors around the world. So Kyu, now I want to ask you, how much involved would you say are young people when it comes to blood donation? Do we have any numbers or figures?
We sure do. Taking a look at age distribution of blood donors in Korea last year, the MZ generation accounted for 52%, so well done to all of us. And to take a deeper look at the percentage, let's take a look at the screen. The graph shows blood services statistics provided by the Korean Red Cross in 2024, followed by MZ generation accounting for more than half in terms of blood donation age group, was those between 16 and 19 accounting for 19%, those in their 40s at 17%, 10% for those in their 50s, and 2% for 60 and over. So I think one reason to explain the numbers is perhaps because younger people are, I guess, healthier and more energetic. However, unfortunately, the number of blood donors has decreased by 25% over the past 10 years. It's reported the lowest level since related statistics were first published by Statistics Korea in 2005. And the main reasons are declining birth rates and an aging population, which have reduced the number of people eligible to donate blood. And also there's a widespread perception that donating blood is kind of scary,
right?
Especially those who are scared of needles or just seeing a lot of blood in front of their eyes.
So you just mentioned that over half, as I remember, 52% of blood donors were those in their 20s and 30s. So let's find out whether that holds true for us here in the studio. So starting with you, Kyun, have you ever donated blood?
Yes.
Yes?
Two times, yes. So once in my 20s and once in my 30s. The first time I went, it was very frightening, obviously, because any kind of first experience is, kind of like frightening and nervous. But I did go with my model friends, so I felt a lot of comfort because knowing that if I did pass out, which no one really does, I would have someone to help me out.
Yeah.
But much to my surprise, it didn't last very long. It finished in like less than 30 minutes. I felt fine.
Really?
I felt actually happy in the end to be able to contribute and to do something very helpful and useful to help someone in need. And the second time was a walk in the park. As I was acting all casual because I did it once. It obviously didn't take very long. And I also received a free movie ticket.
Yeah.
Plus like a convenience store voucher of around approximately 5,000 won. So I mean, it's a gift they give you for what you've done. But overall, I think it was a great experience. Just knowing that I actually did something voluntarily to help someone in need. So I think talking about donating blood is another sign for me to go very soon. Very soon.
Very soon?
Very soon.
Okay.
Before I hit my 40s.
Well, please share your experience.
I will do.
Okay, so far, Kyun has donated blood 2 times. Now, if you're wondering why are we getting movie tickets or vouchers after we donate blood here in Korea, we will talk about that very, very soon. But now I want to ask you the same question, Cherin. Have you donated blood before?
Yeah, for me, yes and no at the same time.
Why?
Because I did go to donation center to give blood. However, I failed because, there's a health requirement, and especially my weight requirement at the time was slightly lesser than the standard, so it didn't meet the requirement. So I finally failed to donate the blood. However, I feel a little bit disappointed because I cannot do it, but I feel kind of really grateful because it reminded me that they really care about my health and donators' health. So I was worried about what if my health is not going good with this donation, but I feel, it can be safe. I don't have to worry about it. So I think that's a good experience. So I will try in the future again.
So you're willing to try again?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so we're now going to zoom in on how blood donation works here in Korea, because as Kyun briefly mentioned, Korean donors often receive small tokens of appreciation. So starting off, can you explain what this is all about?
So in Korea, selling blood is prohibited. And it became illegal in 1981. So blood donors receive small tokens of appreciation, sometimes even movie tickets, like I mentioned. And it's a win-win situation, doing a good deed and getting to see a movie for free, of course. Some people even donate blood just to enjoy the snacks provided. But the snacks aren't just it's not kind of a kind gesture. They help replenish calories, support red blood cell production, and restore the fluids lost during donation. In addition to snacks, donors can choose gifts like from convenience store vouchers or even towels. But of course, the types of gifts given vary depending on the donation center.
And it's very heartwarming that they not only take care or put into consideration the health of those who receive blood, but also the health of donors as well. Then Tanya, I'd like to ask you, I think a lot of people might be curious, where does all these donated blood go? How are they used?
Yeah, in Korea, when you donate blood, you can get a donation certificate. So if you have it, you can receive a free blood transfusion, and you can also transfer or donate your certificate to others or even to an organization. So this can help people who need blood often, and like leukemia or blood cancer patients like that. One donation can certainly help many other people. So it is really worth it and meaningful, and it's a powerful way to care for others.
Right, it is definitely a meaningful action that can change or even save the lives of some people. So far we focused on the blood donation culture here in Korea. Now for a broader perspective, after the break, we'll be joined by a millennial from Pakistan. We'll be right back.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Welcome back. Joining us this Friday is Mushtaq Majid, a millennial from Pakistan. Welcome to the show, Majid.
Hi, Eugene, and thank you so much for having me. Hi, Gi-hoon, and hi, Cheney. So good to see you guys.
Great to see you. So, Majid, we'd first like to ask you, I asked the same question to our panelists as well, but have you ever donated blood before, either in Pakistan or in Korea? And if yes, how was the experience? And if not, we want to ask you, what kind of made you hesitant?
Well, actually, I did donate blood once in Pakistan, and I hope to donate again. And I make it too, as Gi-hoon, twice in Korea too. So I donated it in 2013 in Pakistan. So when I was in my college days, I grew up with all the myths and fears, you can't donate blood or it's gonna be really painful, or only maybe very chubby or a bit very healthy people can donate. And I was really scared. But when I was in my university, I joined a community service club, and they talk about, they blot out all the misconceptions, about blood donation, and we attended a seminar. And then, it motivates me like, yeah, Majid, you can do that. So, on the D-Day, I went to the blood donation center. And of course, just like Gi-hoon, I was really scared too. And they were my friends beside me. And I called my dad, I'm gonna donate my blood. And he was proud, he was happy. And he was like, son, don't worry, he's gonna be fine. And yeah, after I donated the blood, I was, really fine. And I hope to now donate in Korea one day.
Kudos to you, Majid, for being a blood donor, just like me. Now, how is blood donation generally perceived in Pakistan? Are there a lot of people interested in it?
Well, I should talk about two things. First of all, if it's really an emergency situation, or if there's catastrophic condition and then we need blood, the whole country or a particular region needs blood, people will go beyond everything and they will donate blood as much as they can, because it's in part of our religion. It says that if you save one person's life, it means you save the whole humanity. So people go and donate blood. But still, if there's no emergency situation, or if it's not your family member or something, voluntarily not many people actually go. And I was reading some statistics that only 90% of the blood that is donated come from family members. So there's still, a lack of awareness that people should voluntarily go and donate bloods too. But now the things are changing. For example, just like a few months ago, our government has launched virtual blood donation bank, and donors can actually call and they can donate blood. And if you want to receive blood, if you need blood, you can actually call to the helpline and you can receive blood too. And today is BTS birthday, and I would really want to talk about how BTS Army in Pakistan is changing the whole perception and culture of blood donation. The young people, and just like in Korea, like 52% MZ are donating blood. In Pakistan to young people, MZ people, and especially the BTS Army, they are literally changing the way blood donation is being perceived. They organize blood donation drives. There's a community, Purple Project Pakistan. They organized in 2022. They organized a blood donation drive also. The community organized on Suga birthday, on Jungkook birthday in 2023 also. So the things are changing very fastly, and I hope that more not only young people, more like older people too will start donating bloods too. Not only the MZ ones, more youth in 30s and 40s, they can donate bloods too.
Yeah, thank you for your response and really detailed response. Thank you. And here's the final question, Majid. What do you think can motivate more people, especially like MZ generation like us in Korea, to take part in this kind of donation?
I would think about three things. Number one, purpose. Not many people know that how important it is to donate blood. They would just think it as just a medical act. They don't know, like Cheney was saying, 1 unit or 1 pint of blood can save many lives. And I was reading like up to 3 lives. So people don't know that. I hope that we should talk, they should know more about purpose, and we should talk about it on news channels, on programs and different things, that it's really important that you are actually saving lives. For example, when I donated blood, right after that, I was feeling so happy, just like Ki-Hung, that I actually helped someone. And maybe I actually saved someone's life. So we should talk about purpose also. The second thing, we should admire people who donate blood. So for example, like, BTS Army, when they donate blood, when they organize these blood donation drives, they talk about on social media, and seeing them, more and more army starts joining because they make it look admirable and responsible act. So I hope that we should talk a blood donation as a act of a very admirable act and responsible act too. And lastly, as in Korea, you guys get movie tickets. I hope, of course, people don't donate blood to get rewards, but still, as a token of appreciation, I hope that in Pakistan too, we should start giving them some sort of movie tickets or some coupons. Or for example, in Korea, we have 1365, the volunteer community service portal where you get points. I hope that we can have a system in Pakistan where you can get certificates or points if you donate blood. So these kind of actions can motivate, and I really hope that as I was seeing the data that the blood donation numbers are going down. I hope that soon, and because of the Arirang program, the numbers will go up and higher.
Hope we can see those figures going up. All right, Majid, thank you so much for your time today, and hope you have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so I think you also mentioned this, Kyung, but as Majid mentioned as well, it's kind of pitiful that we are seeing the number of blood donors going down. So I think that this part of our discussion might help. We're going to bust some common myths and misconceptions about blood donation, some of which may be stopping some people from giving their blood. So we'll run through a few and talk about whether they're fact or whether they're fiction.
So in the past, there was a perception that donating your blood could harm your health. However, the amount of blood drawn during donation is a maximum of 400 milliliters, which is less than the reserve amount our body stores. And since a donor's health is a top priority, various tests are conducted beforehand, like Cherin mentioned before, to ensure the individual is actually fit to donate. This screening process also serves as a basic health check for the individual, allowing donors to gain insight into their own health. Therefore, there is no need to worry that blood donation will harm your health. It's all a myth and perhaps an excuse not to actually become a donor, because once you find out, once you actually go to the donation center, it's very easy, and once you come out, you feel so refreshed and actually proud of what you actually did. So, I mean, everyone go out there, donate blood if you're all eligible.
Right, I think we busted a really big myth now. Any other myths or misconceptions that you like to break, Tenny?
Yeah, I have one. Some people think only Korean can donate blood in Korea, but that's not true. If you live in Korea for over 1 year and you have proof of your address, and you're welcome to donate. And you also need to speak Korean or have someone to help with translation. That's because safety is very important. It's not because it is not about where you're from, but it's about keeping donors and patients safe.
Okay, some very great piece of information for our international viewers. Now, to listen to what they think, we asked our viewers about their thoughts on blood donation through a poll on our Arirang News YouTube channel. If we look at the poll results, 42% said that they are not eligible to donate their blood, followed by 24% they're scared of needles, 22% answered they have donated blood before, while 12% said that they have no access. All right, so ending off our discussion today, as we mark once again World Blood Donor Day tomorrow, we're going to wrap up with a reminder of why donating blood matters and why, that is, if you're eligible, it might be one of the most meaningful things that you can do.
Exactly. People who donate blood regularly are said to have a lower risk of heart disease and stroke.
Oh.
It is believed that the regular removal of excess iron from the blood through donation helps improve blood flow, which may contribute to these health benefits. And also, I'd like to mention just one more thing. Doing this episode made me kind of think, if we can come up with a system, the Red Cross, Korea Red Cross can come up with a system where the blood we donate, if we can find out who we actually helped, and
create that connection and tie.
That connection, and knowing that, oh, I actually helped this kind of person, and that person actually survived thanks to me or other donors, I think it will give that extra meaningful motivation as well, and for me to actually donate more in the future. And so it's just a quick suggestion that if we can have that kind of connection and database, which I think will be very possible in such digitalized society, knowing who I actually helped, and being in touch with that person, and that person in turn can actually appreciate the donor, saying, thank you so much, you actually saved my life. I think that will just take it to another level.
Definitely, that's such a great suggestion. Now, Chinny, remind us once again why blood donation is so important.
I saw that one study, I remember that people who volunteer actually live longer life. You know, so helping others is also good for your own health and your wellness in your life and your happiness too. So I used to volunteer in my local library at the time to help the organizing some books in there. It wasn't a huge volunteer action, but I felt so good about it. So I think that's the joy of the volunteering. And I think the blood donation is just like that. So it's good for your mind and good for your health too as well. And you can also save someone's life. So it's kind of win-win situation. So that's why I think we should give it a try.
Right. The beauty of volunteering, and also I would like to add that people live when you give blood. Now, before we go, today marks my final day as host of News Generation. It's been a true privilege to greet you every morning for the past year and a month. Now, I have to admit, not every day was perfect. Some mornings were indeed tough, but every single one was a valuable lesson. I've grown through this experience not just as reporter and a host, but as a person. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the incredible team team behind this show, our editors, producers, screenwriters, technicians, and graphic designers who make this live broadcast possible each morning. And to our brilliant panelists, I'm pretty sure some of you might be watching. Thank you for your honesty, your energy, and for bearing with me even on the messier days. And thank you to you, Kyun and Chenin. And most of all, I want to thank you, our viewers. Your support and encouragement have meant the world to me. Now, I'm returning to the field and will be reporting as the presidential office correspondent, and News Generation will be in the great hands of my colleague, Lee Soo-jin. I sincerely hope you'll show her the same love and support you've shown me. And that's all we have for this episode of News Generation, but NewsGen will be back next Monday at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks to Park Ki-eun.
Thank you and great job, Eugene.
Thank you so much for helping me out. And also Cherin Kim.
Yeah, thank you and celebrate.
Thank you. And for one last time to our viewers, thank you so much for watching and hope you have a wonderful, great weekend. We are
News Generation.
How to survive in Korea. Cafes. Step 1. Find a seat. Before ordering, find a seat. Laptop ID, smartphone, jacket, whatever that can mark your territory. But no bites. It's a little too big. Step 2. Pick up. We do not ask or call your name. We call out, B69번 고객님. The buzzer will vibrate when your order is ready at the counter. Wait, got your straw? Keep the top of the wrapper on. Doing this is more hygienic. Step 3. Cafe etiquette. If you need to use your laptop, find a seat next to a socket. No extra charge for using electricity. But if you're staying over 3 hours, how about ordering another drink or dessert? Step 4. Last bite standing. There's a mysterious custom in Korea. The last bite standing. When there's about 1 bite left of that cake, nobody will go for it. You might be tempted, but don't be hasty. Right before you get up, take the last piece, saying that you simply can't waste food, or just leave it. It will save a few calories. Did you survive at the cafe? Did someone behind the counter catch your eye? Go for the same drink every single day.
오늘도 아이스 말차 라떼 드실 거죠?
You might make an impression,